This is about a city government in southern Illinois, Carbondale, where officials literally told a pro-life missionary, you don't have First Amendment rights. You heard that right. They told a pro-life missionary that they didn't have First Amendment rights. And if that doesn't wake you up, it should. And I'm going to explain why coming up in this broadcast. Because this is a case that we've told you a little bit about before, but we have just filed a preliminary injunction in this case against the city of Carbondale, asking the federal court to block enforcement of a city ordinance which is unfairly targeting conservative pro-life speech. And it's so vague, it's unconstitutional. This is a case where a pro-life missionary has a nonprofit organization in Illinois, was holding a demonstration in a public grassy area near an abortion clinic. There's a city ordinance that has signage laws that they had put up and restrictions on signage. And the client had the ordinance with them that day. And they were approached by a city official who was acting on behalf of the city attorney to try and get this demonstration shut down. This just happened a couple weeks ago. As a matter of fact, we were live on the air when a pastor in the area contacted the ACLJ saying, we need help right now. And our attorneys got right on it. But now as the case develops and we see what's really happening there, it's shocking. And it's shocking not just because of what happened to these pro-life advocates, but what could happen to anyone if we don't stand up for the First Amendment and fight back in the courts. So he was out there with this group, and they had signs, things that said free baby supplies and we will adopt your baby, and things like love your preborn neighbor as yourself. And this official, Carbondale Community Development Manager, confronted our client, said that they were acting on the direction of the city attorney in that they were in violation of the city's temporary sign ordinance. They labeled the sign as commercial, the one that said free baby supplies, as if it were business for them. But our client was saying this is protected speech, even pointed in the ordinance where demonstrations were exempted from this ordinance under the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. And this individual working for the city, when our client said, this is protected under my First Amendment rights, the city official said, no, it isn't. Then the person working for the city got the police involved, and the police get there. And the police say, oh, yeah, you can do this, but, you have to move the signs to this place, and it's all good. Everything's fine. And the city official said, no, that's not the way I interpret the ordinance. And it keeps going. And then even the next day, our client, trying to comply, goes and tries to get a permit for signage, because that's what the day before they were told you would need to get if it were commercial speech, of which they were deeming it. And when they got there, the same individual who came and tried to cite them earlier and called the police on them says that we don't have a permit that exists for what you're trying to do. So what did we do? We filed a lawsuit saying, one, you got to get rid of this ordinance. It is unconstitutionally vague. And what does that mean? It means that when the police can't figure out what the ordinance says, what the individual, the citizen can't figure out what it says, and what the city itself can't figure out what it says, it's unconstitutionally vague because the citizen can't understand what they legally have to do to comply. And that's what we see in this case. The Supreme Court has precedent on this. So the law's on our side there. But we also didn't just stop and let the court take its time. We also filed a motion for a preliminary injunction against them enforcing this ordinance last night, so that this pro-life advocate can continue their work while we fight this in court. Now, you may be saying to yourself, I am pro-life, but I don't go to demonstrations, or I'm not a part of an organization like our client has that goes and advocates for life. But if an ordinance is so vague, and it seems as you look at how many hoops they jump through just to try and silence the speech of our client, and when you see the other signs that are around there that our attorneys documented and have submitted to the court, things like a fish fry or home renovation or an Irish festival in Carbondale, these signs are fine. There's no citation being issued. So it boils down to that the city didn't like the speech. It was the viewpoint that they were discriminating against, not the signs themselves. It was the people and their beliefs and their First Amendment right to express those that they were upset with. And so, like I said, you may be saying to yourself, I don't know that this applies to me. I don't live in Illinois. I don't go out and stand on the side of the road with pro-life signs. I get that. But if they can discriminate against one conservative viewpoint under the First Amendment that is protected speech, where does it stop? Where do other municipalities and the ones you live in, what do they try to get away with? What if you wanted to go speak out against the curriculum in your schools? And so you wanted to have a visible demonstration talking about that, getting attention, because the attention's not on the school board meetings. Very rarely are they. So what if you want to raise your voice and advocate for your children? What if that wasn't a protected demonstration because the city decided it wasn't? What if you wanted to raise awareness? You see all this rampant anti-Semitism across the country, breaking into the library at Columbia, destruction for people that support Hamas. You just want to go out there and say, remember the hostages. And you had a sign that says, bring them home. What if that was decided that your viewpoint here, this isn't really a demonstration as we see it under the exemption that's in the city ordinance? So you're not allowed to do this, and we're going to call the police. Or what if you decide to have a political rally? In the exemptions in the ordinance, it says that is one. But what if they decided because it's against an incumbent, we don't think it is. We don't think it falls in the exempt category. And they try to shut your speech down. That's how they try to silence you. This isn't some broad national law. This isn't the failing Democrats trying to censor your speech. At the federal level, they're doing a pretty good job right now in the administration of shutting that down. We talked about Marco Rubio shutting down that global engagement center in the State Department, which was spying on Americans, keeping dossiers of their social media. The federal government's doing a pretty good job of that right now. But you know what? It's not their job to go and look at every ordinance in the United States that could be coming after you. And that's all politics is local, as they say. That's where it starts, folks. It starts where you live and where you work and where your children go to school. And if they're able to shut down your First Amendment right there, then you don't have a First Amendment. That's why the ACLJ fights for this. We will fight for you if you are experiencing something similar in your town. We have had thousands of contacts already this year through aclj.org/help. And you don't hear about these cases every day. But that's the work that we're doing. Right now, as soon as I'm off the air, our attorneys are in court in Ohio defending another pro-life advocate who was arrested because they don't like speech that makes them uncomfortable. They don't like the truth. And so we're going to keep fighting day in and day out to protect that, to protect the First Amendment. It's sacred. It's what makes America great. And we are not going to stop.
We are so excited to announce the ACLJ's brand new app, completely redesigned to provide you with the best tools available to partner with us at the ACLJ. You can watch the daily Seculo program, sign the petitions, customize your ACLJ membership experience, donate with the click of a button, and receive up-to-the-minute critical updates that the mainstream media can't censor. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to your phone's app store, search ACLJ, and click install. It's that simple.